2026 earnings growth estimate is for 14 plus percent. That's pretty high. That's higher than long-term averages for earnings growth in the S&P 500. What you usually see in January, though, is usually you see that number come down. That growth number usually comes down. What usually happens in 2026 or in any year, in the beginning of the year, is companies will want to give estimates that they can beat down the road. Well, again, it's a game that Wall Street and companies play a little bit as they want to issue earnings numbers that they can exceed. And as a result of that, sometimes they'll bring those estimates down and saying, hey, you guys are expecting this. And Wall Street plays their part in the game and they bring the numbers down. More years than not, that's what this happens, is that usually it's a pretty high point later on in the year for the earnings estimate for the following year. And then it starts to come down a little bit. How far it comes down is usually the bigger question. If it comes down to 14, we're still at like 12 or 11 or even 10, still a very, very good backdrop for the markets. And I think we can actually do that. The only real issue is if it comes down more to where you start to talk about mid to low single digits, or especially declining growth. Now, I don't think there's a scenario at this point right now that would suggest that we're going to be anywhere near that anytime soon. But if that were the case, if something were to happen to have, substantial weakness to turn that over, especially given the valuation of the S&P 500 right now, which is expensive. We are high in valuation right now. So you kind of need earnings growth support to keep those valuations up. If we start to trend the wrong way, you could start to see that double whammy of both earnings coming down a little bit, but also the valuation of what we're paying for that coming down as well. That's a recipe for not a great market. I don't think we're there as of yet, but it is something we'll be watching over the coming week.